The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod. We're webcasting to you live from the Center for Autism and Related Disorders headquarters in Tarzana, California. It's Thursday. Very excited to be here today. It's day 2 of our great holiday giveaway. Yesterday, we were able to give away a subscription, a 6-month subscription. My lips aren't working yet this morning. Subscription, that's the word I want, for one child on Skills for 6 months and a $25 Walmart gift card. So if you were one of the many people who participated in those contests, make sure to check your inbox because we'll be notifying you that you won. Now, for today, we have some amazing things that we're going to be giving away. Today, we're going to be giving away, during this hour, we're going to be giving away something from Lush. I'm not even sure what it is because in just a few minutes, we are going to be joined by a Lush representative. Brittany Baima is going to be with us, and she's going to be talking about the fabulous products that they have available at Lush, and there will be a giveaway at some point during this hour. Again, if you're new to the show, you want to be watching at some point during the show, a word will appear or a phrase will appear on the screen, and when you see that word or phrase, you will want to email us. Emily will put the address that you will email us at. Make sure that you put the gift of the hour in the subject heading so that we know which you're pairing it with the right word, because there'll be a different word next hour. And then of the correct responses, we will pick at random a winner to win the lovely Lush gift, and we'll figure out what that is in just a little while. But again, all week long we're talking about smart gifting, and that could be a great gift for you. It's okay to gift to yourself or to a teacher or a therapist. Anyone on your list would love some Lush gifts. So, and then in the second hour, I mentioned this, a little sneak peek yesterday, we are going to be giving away some IBT trainings to give to a teacher. Oh, you're going to love that. We'll talk more about that in the next hour. But in the meantime, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that this entire show is meant to be interactive. We hope that you will participate. Emily's going to show you some of the different ways that you can participate, while I remind you that if you go to www.autism-live.com, when you go there, you will see a computer screen. If you click on the start button there, you will be able to watch the live show or the most recently recorded live show. And you can also scroll through and find some other recently recorded live shows. And you can watch the show. On the other side of the screen is a long white box. If you put your cursor there and type and hit enter, it shows up here on my screen. And you and I can have a conversation, or you can ask questions of our guests. There is a I always say it's live, it's immediate. There is a slight lag. So I would tell you, if you have a question for somebody, if you have a question for Brittany when she comes in to talk about Lush, type it as soon as you see her and the idea occurs to you, so that it's not the case that she's gone and then it appears here on my screen. So, and by the way, there is no cost for that. You don't have to log in. Nobody's getting your personal information. But it does mean that if you want us to get back to you, to email you back about something specific, that you will have to give us information about how to get back to you. We won't share that with the audience at home. We will keep your information private. But please participate in the way that is best for you. And you can be writing in on that live feature 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but do realize that you should reference what it is that you're talking about, because a lot of times people write in and say, is she talking about this? And I don't know which she you were watching in that moment. So make sure that you reference what the subject is or what the name of the guest is that you want to ask the question of. We can always get a hold of our guests after they leave and ask them questions. Okay, so a lot to keep track of, but we hope that you will participate with us. We want to participate with you. That's what we want. I'm all a Twitter today because I can't wait to be talking about the things we're going to talk about. Also, I'd like to remind you at the start of the show that I am not an expert in autism. I'm an autism parent. My son was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2.5. He is now 10, and he is doing remarkably well because of the help and support that we got. If we had to rely on what I knew about autism in those first days and the amount of money that I had in my bank account, we would have been in deep, deep doo-doo, as they say, technical term, right? But fortunately, I had access to, and just by luck, let's be honest, just by luck, I got access to parents who helped me and said, oh, you got to go talk to this person, and this is where you want to sign up for funding, and this is what you want to do. So I have a lot to pay forward. That's what my interest is here. And I know that you know things that you could share with us that would help so many other people as well. So come here for resources, come here for information, come here to get your questions answered and to give support to other people. We'll talk to you a little bit about how you can do that as well. And also, I have to say, you guys, next week is the Toy Festival. And when I tell you that I've been on the phone day and night and getting some amazing toys, we have some toy representatives next week that it blows my mind. And we're going to be giving away a lot of toys. So tell everyone you know, next week is the week you don't want to miss, right? I feel, we talk about, I'm a big Oprah fan, and I'm also a big Ellen fan. And this week I'm feeling just a sliver of what Oprah and Ellen must feel like when they give stuff away. I can't wait for next week. It's so exciting to me personally. In any case, we're going to get the show started here, and we like to start every morning with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym, and we try to figure out just what in the hey nani are those experts talking about. Okay, we talked a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a week before last, we had the term, maybe it was last week, perspective taking. Well, today our term is sensory perspective taking. Okay, what does that mean? Let's take a look here. Our definition is the ability to perceive and evaluate information based on another's sensory input. Okay, that's not the worst definition that we'll see when we look at some of these definitions, but I want to know, how does this apply to my everyday life, and why is this going to be important to me working with my kid? So our working definition here is being able to see things from someone else's point of view based on what they're seeing. I wrote fearing, but it's hearing, smelling, touching, or tasting. Fearing is part of it, but we're talking about the senses here. So last week when we talked about perspective taking, I got to slow down. My mouth is going too fast. I can't keep up. We talked about perspective taking and how sometimes this is an area of weakness for our kids on the autism spectrum, that they don't see things from somebody else's point of view, and this can affect so many different areas. It certainly can affect their social game, right? If they can't see a friend's perspective, it's going to be harder to get and keep a friend. If they can't take somebody else's perspective, it's going to be harder to get into and keep a conversation going, right? We see a lot of times those kids who will just monologue and talk about something endlessly and not leave room for somebody else or ask what somebody else is doing because they're not taking their perspective. Or kids who aren't aware another child is injured and they're laughing because they're not taking their perspective. It can affect so many different things. So we work on perspective taking, and a lot of times parents will write in and say, but how? How do we work on perspective taking? Because it's so, it doesn't have any sharp edges. How can you teach somebody to think about what somebody else is thinking or feeling? Well, you start with sensory perspective taking. So this is a series of lessons that you can do with a child where first you need to make sure that they understand the senses, right? That's the precursor for this, about, what am I seeing? What am I hearing? What can I feel on my skin? What can I smell? And what does that do to me, right? They got to understand it from their perspective first. Then we start to set up circumstances where they're seeing one thing and somebody else is seeing something. There are things called barrier games in skills where you set up a barrier and you play a game about, it takes 3 people, so 2 people sitting on either side of the barrier. And usually, the person that you're trying to teach it to is sitting behind the barrier, although every once in a while it's nice to rotate out and have them watching so that they can see the whole thing. Maybe mom or dad is sitting on the other side of the barrier and the other one, or the therapist, is standing there and puts something on one side of the barrier so one person can see it. Maybe they start on the child's side and put a lemon and say to the child, what can you see? And the child says, I can see a lemon. And then they ask the child, what can mom see the lemon? And a lot of times the children will start out and saying yes. And so they'll have the child get up from the table, walk around the barrier, and sit from mom's point of view and say, look, can you see the lemon now? No. Take them back around the barrier and say, okay, what can you see? I can see the lemon. Okay, look at mom. Can mom see the lemon? No. Why can't mom see the lemon? Mom can't see the lemon because this thing is in the way. Okay, so they begin to get just the beginning thread of, all right, what I can see, maybe somebody else on the other side of the room can't, but you make it really obvious in the beginning and even walk them around and show them. But it's a whole set of lessons designed to help them to be able to think in their head, okay, I can hear that, but can they hear it? Can they, I can feel this, but can mom feel it? So that, if they're telling you, my pants are itchy, they understand that they feel it, but you don't. It really is an amazing set of lessons that builds that muscle of being able to take someone else's perspective, but in a very concrete way in the beginning we can talk about, can they hear it? No, they can't hear it. And a child will begin to understand that, so that eventually we can start talking about what somebody's thinking and what they're feeling. And then we can get into fear with my little typo there. In any case, sensory perspective taking, not only is it incredibly fun to work on this with an individual, it really is. They call them games, barrier games, because they're games. It's really fun and exciting. But it builds connections in the brain, I guess, so that we can get onto that perspective taking, which is a lifelong lesson that we're all doing on a daily basis. And I honestly believe that you can tie success with somebody's ability to take other people's perspective. So a great skill that we want to teach our kids. And why are we talking about this today? All will become apparent. It's going to be a full circle moment in here. But we start with our question of the day. We always ask you one question, and I'm like full of typos today, so forgive me. It says hat, but it's supposed to say what? What is the one gift you would like to receive this holiday season? And I want you to tell us on your Facebook, and sky's the limit. You don't have to be realistic. If there was one thing you could have, what would it be? My husband and I were sitting there last night and having this conversation, and I was asking him, I just came disconnected. I was asking him what he would like to have this holiday season, and he was saying, I don't know. And then, of course, he wanted to know what I wanted to have. And I said, it's really tough because the things that I want are not things that we're going to do this holiday season, but it's okay. And he reminded me that it's okay to, I can't tell whether, here we go. It should be back on. I don't know why it's not, Emily. In any case, I'm having problems again. I have gremlins. Okay. I think we're back now. In any case, because I said I want, eventually, I want to be able to get a new car. But that's not something I'm going to do this holiday season, right? But he reminded me, and I reminded myself, it's okay to put it out there, to the universe and go, a car that gets better gas mileage and that doesn't have stuff falling off of it on a daily basis. I am in that demographic. All they've talked about recently is all these people with 11-year-old cars who are now thinking about getting new cars, and they've had them for so long because of the economy, guilty as charged. And things are falling off on a daily basis. But, so it's okay to put it out there. Put it out there. Even if it's not something you're going to do or ask for this season, sky's the limit. Might give somebody else an idea. And it's good to think about. Because as we think about perspective taking and sensory perspective taking, a great time to work on it is gift giving. Because you have to stop and think about based on things that I know about this person, what would they like? So we always have a topic of the week. Our topic this week, and I've talked about it a little bit already, is smart gifting. How do we take other people's perspective and think about what would they want and then give them a really spectacular gift? All of this ties together with some of the different things that we're giving away today on the show. As I mentioned, we're going to have, just in a few minutes, Brittany Baima. She is here from Lush Cosmetics, and you want to talk about sensory? Have you been into a Lush store to smell the smells that are in the Lush store? It is absolutely amazing. And when we give a gift that has sense to it, we're really giving the gift of self-care. There is a well-being that comes with those kinds of scents. They're great gifts for teachers and for therapists and anybody in your life that you want to say thank you to and give them that gift of pampering. Lush, absolutely fabulous. All part of perspective taking, right? We're taking their perspective of what would they like. We're going to talk some more about smart gifting today and give you some different categories. And then a little bit later on, we're going to do our healthy eating tip of the week. I know we normally do this on Tuesday, but we weren't here on Tuesday. And a viewer had sent an article to us, and Emily brought it to my attention. We want to talk a little bit about that and about restrictive diets for kids on the autism spectrum, because there's a little bit of press this week about that after a young person with autism getting quite seriously ill. And we want to shed a little bit of light on that. I know a lot of people looked at that and thought, oh, it's because he was on some crazy GFCF diet. And it's quite the contrary. So we're going to talk a little bit about healthy eating, and we're going to be covering a lot of different things on the show, including talking about those gifts that we're going to give to the fabulous teachers, OTs, speech and language pathologists. If you like your child's principal, if you don't, maybe not one of these gifts. But if you like your child's principal and want to get them a lovely gift, all the things that you can give someone to make them know how special they are, and we're reinforcing them. That's what we're doing. And we're doing perspective taking, and we're going to do a little sensory perspective taking to give them the right gift, smart gifting. All right, we're going to take a break, and I believe we're going to be back with Brittany Baima, so stick with us. Hi, we're at the Toys R Us in Porter Ranch, California. And Emily and I are going to take a little tour around the store and find some great toys for some great kids.
All right, let's go.
Come with us.
Yes.
Okay, bring your dinosaur and come on, let's go look at the things in the game aisle.
Okay.
I know you love games.
I do look.
All right. So here we are in the game aisle, Emily, and I want to show you that there's all these games that you can get for kids of all ages. They're interactive and really remarkable. One of the hot toys this year and many other years is the Bop It toy.
Okay, so what about the Bop It is so reinforcing?
Well, you know what? It can be interactive. It can be a social game. It makes lots of noises. Sometimes they light up depending on the version. It helps to work on fine motor skills, and it helps to work on fluency. This toy will grow with the child, and in fact, you can get it in different versions. This is a little bit more complex version, and up top here we have one that's especially for older kids. It's called the Smash the Light. I would wait until a child is older to play with this one. So should we check out the Lego aisle?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Go. So how can we use Legos to help our kids?
Well, they're really spectacular toys for our kids because they work on executive functions and planning. They're really colorful. You can work on colors and grouping and matching, counting because they have the little dots on the top. And if you have a younger child, you can start with the Duplo toys that are compatible with Lego and they don't have the choking hazard.
So then as the kids get older, what's great about Legos, it looks like, is that there's all sorts of themes. We've got movies here and video games, so the kids can really connect with what's personal to them. So Legos are amazing, but what else do we have to see?
Let's look at some educational toys in the leapfrog aisle, shall we? Okay.
Okay, so what do you have here?
Well, we're in the leapfrog aisle. This particular toy, very popular this year, is a leap reader. It comes with a little pen, and it tells us that we're going to read, write, and listen, all skills that we want to work on with a child. This pen that's in this box, you can put it over different pages in the book. It will read aloud to the child. They can trace their letters. It reinforces them for doing a great job. It's a really spectacular toy for our younger kids that are working on reading, writing, and listening.
This looks like a lot of fun and a really great way to help our kids learn to read and write.
Absolutely.
What else are we going to play with today?
I think we should take a trip down the functional pretend play aisle. This is where you're going to find all the things that are like real, but the toy version. So I've got this lovely set here that's all fresh vegetables. So I'm teaching nutrition at the same time. They're all appropriately colored. I've got a knife so I can be cutting them too. This is really great play for a young child.
Shannon, I heard you got some toys that I get to play with now.
Yes, I'm going to take you to the demo table. We're going to let Emily play with some toys, and we're going to be giving some of these toys away on the show. But they're not just any toys. These are toys that are featured in this year's Toys R Us toy guide for differently abled children. And this is put together with the help of our friends at Lecotech.
So what do all these different icons mean?
These are different icons that tell us what skill this toy might help to develop in our children.
So can I play with the toys now?
Yes, it's time to play with the toys, Emily.
So I think I recognize this guy.
Yes, this is the ever popular and very sweet Elmo. But this is a very specific Elmo that teaches adaptive skills like zippering.
Almost yellow triangle zippers.
And so we get the reinforcement of Elmo talking to us when we do these things. There's a let's keep playing. So it encourages the child to continue to interact. And he's very reinforcing. When he giggles, I just want to hug him and play with him some more. Okay, so moving on, let's look at some Melissa and Doug toys. These are incredible toys. They'll last several different generations because they're made out of good quality wood.
Awesome.
And let's start with a lace and trace toy. Now, I happen to know that you love turtles,
I do love turtles.
And this is a set of farm animals, lace and trace. And the child can pick out a color that they like for a lace.
All right.
And there are lots of different things that they can do with this. And I know it might seem like this is an old-fashioned toy, but you know, sometimes the old-fashioned toys are the best toys. Because what you're doing right now, Emily, is that you're using a lot of hand-eye coordination and you're using the pincer grasp. This is a precursor to writing right here. If you've got a child who's having difficulty holding a pencil, this is a really reinforcing way to work on this. And it comes in lots of different things. And then also for Melissa and Doug, we have this amazing switch and spin. Love this so much. This is a great cause and effect toy. As we start to put the gears together, we notice that when you turn one, another one can turn. You can rearrange this and do it in lots of different ways. There are 10 design boards, so you don't have to just do fish. There are other things that you can put there instead.
That's awesome.
Kids love this toy, and it's another Melissa and Doug toy.
Cool.
All right, let's take a look at some fun games.
So I found this game, and it's called Fibber. So Shannon, I'm going to need you to put on your fibbing glasses.
I want a fib.
All right. So this game is totally reinforcing, and it helps our kids to work on lying.
Yes, and that's something we really, I know it sounds strange, but we want to work on that because being able to tell a lie is something that helps with safety issues. And also being able to tell if somebody else is lying is a really useful life skill.
What you need to do is get rid of your cards without trying to grow your nose, kind of like Pinocchio.
Okay.
But if you get caught...
And so eventually you can have a whole string of noses attached to the end of your nose. Very colorful. Again, we can be working on the colors. Kind of hilarious. A kid's going to want to play this with mom or dad and see that mom is Pinocchio telling lots of lies. I like this game a lot.
This is a great game.
We've had a really great time at Toys R Us, and all of the toys that you see here on the table, we're going to be giving away on the show. So stay tuned to find out how you can win one of these great toys. Welcome back to Autism Live. This is Smart Gifting Week, and in the studio with us we have someone who knows all about that, Brittany Baima.
Hi.
Hi. She is a manager in training at Lush Cosmetics in Topanga.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful store. You should.
Yes.
We were talking about scents before and how that's a great thing to give as a gift.
Definitely.
Something
Absolutely.
that smells wonderful. If you go into a Lush store, you will see that it's just.
It just smells amazing.
It smells lush.
All the time.
It's a great name. And Brittany has brought a gift that we're going to be giving away in this hour.
Yes.
It is very green, so when you see it on our green screen,
Yeah,
you're
sorry
not
about
going
that.
to see the green. You're gonna see some holes in it. But it is a fabulous pink and green gift. It looks black on the screen, but it's beautiful holiday gift, and it's valued at.
It's valued at $49.95, and it's packed with our best sellers. So you get Ocean Salt, which is a face and body scrub, Buffy Body Butter, which is a life-changing product. So a lot of really great holiday items to keep your skin nice and supple throughout the holiday season. So we're very excited about this gift set. It's very cute.
This would be an amazing gift to give a teacher, a therapist, somebody that you truly love and you want to reinforce because they've been doing a great job with your kid. This would be a spectacular gift. So you have an opportunity during this hour to be watching and see if you can win this gift. But if somebody wanted to buy this gift, they can go to the Lush Topanga store and buy this gift, or they can go to the Lush store that's closest to them, or they could get it online.
Absolutely.
Is there a specific name for this gift when they go online?
This one is called Jolly Holidays. You can see on the label.
Very. And it's a beautiful little card there that says Jolly. Very festive.
And it's a reusable hat box, so you can reuse the box.
I love that.
So anybody on your list that needs a good pampering, this is a great gift set for them.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
And you have this lovely little thing next to it that I want you to tell us
My
about.
favorite. This is actually my all-time favorite product, and Lush is actually super excited about this during the holiday season especially. We do sell it year-round, but this is our charity pot hand and body lotion, and 100% of this hand and body lotion is actually donated to charity, so we don't make a dime off of it. It's all donated, which is really awesome, and it's a great little thing that you can give as a gift for the holidays because it is so charitable. And we support over 160 grassroots charities worldwide.
Love that.
Yeah, so it's super exciting. We do humanitarian rights, animal rights, environmental causes, so it's a good way to give back.
It's really, and it's a beautiful little container here. I want to smell. Can you pop the lid so that I can
You
smell?
bet.
Because, and
It's basically like whipped
very
cocoa butter, and it has a
my
little bit of
goodness,
almond
you
oil.
guys. Oh, that just smells like taking care of yourself.
Yes.
It's pampering in a pot. Love
Exactly.
that. And organic cocoa butter.
Yeah, fair trade organic cocoa butter.
We love that.
Yeah.
We love the organic. So a great gift to give someone so that they're taken care of. This is mostly for hands and feet?
Hand and body all over.
Hand and body, okay.
Not for the face, but great for the body.
Okay, spectacular. And all of these things, again, they can find at Lush. What's the Lush website? Excuse
It's
me.
www.lush.com, and then they'll be able to choose their country.
Great.
Because we're all over.
Yes, so for those of you who are watching us in other countries, fabulous gifts for Lush.
Yep.
And Brittany's going to show us some other gift choices that you could do that are spectacular for friends and family and teachers as well. So stick with us more with Brittany Baima from Lush after these messages.
Hello, fellow activists. Last week, we talked about step number 1, accept and embrace this challenge. Now we're moving on to step number 2, educate yourself. After my son Wyatt was diagnosed, I put up a sign over my home office that said Autism Central. I went to school in my home office every night after my husband and Wyatt had gone to bed because I was determined to learn everything there was about autism. That's because knowledge is power. Visit all the autism websites you can. Read all the books you can. Learn about all the organizations that are out there that offer free guides to help you. Some of them even offer mentors to help guide you. Find out about local support services. Find out about what educational services your child is entitled to. Get to every autism conference and seminar you can. I'll never forget the first autism conference that I went to. The first speaker was a beautiful, brilliant woman named Dr. Doreen Graham-Pichet. She spoke about a therapy called Applied Behavioral Analysis, or ABA. She told about how it could improve the life of children with autism and in some cases recover them. Now, despite the fact that Wyatt had been diagnosed for over a year, nobody had told me about this therapy. I remember calling my husband on the cell phone and saying, honey, I met the woman who is going to help improve Wyatt's life. And I'm happy to say that 8 years later, that's true. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed by all the information that's out there? Well, you're not alone. But try different approaches for your child. Trust your gut. Just 40 short years ago, mothers were told if their child had autism that they would have to be institutionalized, and in some cases they were actually blamed for their child's autism for failing to bond with the child. That was called refrigerator mother syndrome. Well, thank goodness times have changed. So until next time, learn everything you can about autism and keep the faith.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We have with us in the studio a really special guest, Brittany Baima. She is a manager in training at the Lush Topanga store in Topanga Canyon here in California. And she brought a gift that we're going to be giving away, and she was showing us this fabulous charity pot. I love the idea of this because not only are you giving a gift to somebody that's really about self-care, but you're also giving to all those grassroots organizations as well. We didn't really ask you, what does that sell for?
This one is $22.95.
Okay.
We do have a smaller one for $5.95, so great stocking stuffer ideas, and then also like hostess gifts too.
But great gift for a teacher. I think teachers would appreciate, you know, that it's going also to charity.
Definitely.
But incredible, incredible cream. Now you've got some other things sitting on the desk here that anybody would be thrilled to get. So tell us a little bit about what's right in front of you.
Okay, so this is our Seasons Tweetings gift set, and this one is a little bit revamped this year. We had it last year, but it's way better this year. Okay. So it actually does have a smaller size of our charity pot lotion in this gift set. Okay. So actually $8.50 of this gift set goes to charity. So that's a really cool way to give back as well. Sure. And it's also packed with lots of moisturizing products as well, like your Buffy Body Butter, that life-changing product. Yeah. And we also have our Rose Argan shower gel in this one as well, and that one's new this year. And that one is a very nourishing shower gel, very hydrating with that argan oil. So this one is very exciting. I'm excited about this one. And then
And I just want to take a second to say about this, because when you're looking for smart gifting, I love here, this is vegan, right? That's a very big deal. People care about that. But stop and consider, if you were to get, this is that perspective taking that we were talking about before, if you got this and you get to take the time a little bit every day to take care of yourself, how meaningful that is. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Yes, definitely. So, superlative gift for that, someone special. And this other thing that you have on the table is the ultimate.
Fabulous.
It's, oh my goodness.
So this is our white Christmas gift set. It is basically, we actually have two editions. We have the shower edition and then we have the bath edition. Okay. So this one is the shower edition. Comes with all of our best-selling.
Away from you. Okay, we want to be able to hear you.
Okay?
Yeah, we just want your mic.
Oh, sorry. That's okay. So this comes with actually all of our best-selling shower care. So scrubs, body butters, lotions, foot scrubs, you name it, it's in here, and it's to resemble kind of like a board game. So super fancy packaging, which is really exciting. And this box is also reusable, so it's a reusable hat box as well. Fabulous. So at Lush, we're very much into reusable packaging and not so much of the throwaway paper. Yeah,
we love that.
Yeah, definitely. So these are I've only shown like 3 of our gifts that we're gonna have this season. We're literally gonna have about 30 new ones in the store, and then we're also gonna have all of our year-round gift sets as well. So Lush makes gift giving very easy because you don't have to worry about wrapping. You don't have to worry, too much about picking things out. It's done. It's literally
all done. You could be completely done with your gift giving going in. And I know from going into Lush stores before, your representatives are really, really helpful.
Absolutely.
They demo things. If you walk in and you really don't know what you're you're doing. They will show you and give you lots of different choices. So you could put something together yourself if you wanted to do a gift basket.
Yeah.
But if you go in, and I've done this before, gone in and said, okay, this is what my budget is. It's for somebody special. This is what I know about them. They love to take long baths. You know, what do I want to do? And they will help you sort it out.
Yeah, that's totally right. And it's true. Like at Lush, all of our girls are very, excited about helping people find the perfect gift set for who they're looking for. So, like you said, great gifts for therapists, people who just need a really good pampering and need to just really take care of themselves.
And also, I wanted to talk a little bit about this, that for a lot of us, having a child on the spectrum, we get a little out of touch with what's the big thing and what do people really like and what's reinforcing for them. This is a great gift for somebody who, young person. This is taking care of themselves is a very big deal for young and old, let's say that. So perfect sort of hip gift to give.
Definitely.
And people will know that you care about them if you give these Lush gifts. Brittany, these are fabulous.
Aren't they nice?
Really, really remarkable. So how much this big one, how much?
This one goes for, I have the price tag on here, $109.95.
Okay.
And that comes with a lot of product. So it's
Amazing
a really good
amount
deal.
of product.
Yeah.
So truly gift, and there'll be no mistaking if you get this for somebody, they will know that you care deeply.
Yeah, it's very true.
And there are those
Put this under the tree and you are just going to be set.
Yes, and for our dads that are watching this is a great gift to give mom because they will be using this product in the months to come for that respite time in the shower or in the bath because people have a preference. I love that you've separated those. I have one friend who would love to be in the bath, only wants to do that, and one who only will take showers. So fabulous gift. Brittany, thank you so much for being here with us today and for bringing that lovely gift. We should bring that out again. And we mentioned this earlier on the show that this is the gift that someone can win. You can win this for yourself or to give to someone else in this week of smart gifting. Yay. Brittany, you're fabulous. Thank everybody at Lush for us, and make sure that you go to a Lush store or go to their website. Tell us again what it is.
It's www.lush.com.
And then you can click on the country that you, wonderful, and everything comes, you don't have to do another thing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. We'll be back after these messages.
You say howdy, we say hi. Let's get wild, let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild.
Hi, it's Lisa Ackerman back for What's Left. I got a nice guest with me today.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
We're going to make some healthy banana nut bread with no eggs. Maybe what you could do, Kristen, I'm going to add the flour.
Okay.
If you can get the bananas ready just by mashing them for me. So I'm going to go ahead and add our flour. Here's 1 cup of my all-purpose flour. I'm going to go ahead and add my baking soda and my salt and my xanthan gum. A half teaspoon of the salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is great, but you can also use gar gum. We can use flaxseed meal if we want to use a different binder. Remember, this is what helps keep your gluten-free flour held together. We're going to also add 1 cup of our organic cane sugar. There's a lot of variations on this as well. I can use maple syrup and honey and cook with it. That's a great way to go, but be careful, you may need to add some more flour into the mix. How are you doing, monkey?
I think it's
Perfect!
I can now say I officially mashed bananas.
You mashed the monkey bananas. So I'll go ahead and take your mashed monkey banana. Thank you very much. All we did, Kristen, lovely Vanna White, is mash up the bananas, getting ready to go for our dessert. So let's go ahead and add egg replacers. We've gotten a lot of feedback from y'all about not using eggs, and I know eggs are a big issue. So we talked about this. We're going to use a little flaxseed meal and arrowroot starch, and I love these, but whenever we use a dry ingredient, and an egg has a lot more moisture than these.
Yeah.
So we want to be a little kind and maybe add a little water or more fruit or, a coconut milk or something along those lines. So for this recipe, it calls for 2 eggs. So I'm actually going to use 1 teaspoon of each of these. Look at me using measuring devices. And add that into my mix, and that will be in place of any eggs that you would want in that recipe. Next up is the cinnamon and the nutmeg. This gives it the yum. Now, for kids who are really sensitive to different spices, you may want to go a little lighter on these. So for nutmeg, this calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon, so you really want to go light on the nutmeg. In fact, that's one you could probably cut back a little bit for kids who are really sensitive to smell or taste. And cinnamon, I love cinnamon. Did you know cinnamon has some antibacterial properties?
Yeah.
I love this stuff. So anytime I can add cinnamon to whatever, if your kid tolerates it, it's a great antibacterial. So I love that stuff. If you have a nut allergy, forget the nuts. But these are the chopped walnuts per the recipe. This is a 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts, and I've got my lemon zest. And again, I love lemon zest. My son has grown to love it as I cook for him more often. And then the last thing that we're going to add here in our recipe is the 1/2 cup of oil. Thanks, Vanna White.
You're welcome.
And we'll go ahead. I use grapeseed. You can also use the different Earth Balance soy-free margarine melted.
Oh, okay.
That would be great. That gives a good texture. Awesome. Our mix is ready to go, Kristen. I'm going to put a little oil on the pan. And I love the consistency. Like you were saying, this looks a little bit like a thick pancake mix. Are you ready?
I think so. I just want to make sure I'm not the one that doesn't make it come out.
So again, it is a bit of a thicker texture. I'm going to go ahead and grab as much as I can out of my little mixing pan here. So let's go ahead and put this in the oven, 350 degrees for about 40 to 50 minutes, depending upon your oven and how long you want it to cook.
Ooh.
And this is what the finished product looks like. Yum!
Looks
so
yummy.
For me, this is probably one of the most nutritious, fun things that I can eat. I'm going to have you try some so you can tell me what you think.
I'll be happy to be the guinea pig.
Such
Ooh,
a
it
great
smells
texture.
so good.
So there you go.
Yummy.
I know. But go ahead and give it a shot and tell me what you think.
Let me see. That was really good.
Yeah,
It's
give me
moist,
some of
too.
that. Thank you for joining us here at Autism Live. We've got a great, wonderful snack or breakfast that we can serve up for our kids. That's healthy, ready to go. Kristen, thanks for joining me this time.
Thank you for having me.
Love
That was
having you
fun.
here. And we'll see you next time at Autism Live. What's left? If you have any questions, you can email us at autismlive@gmail.com or hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/autismlive. And if you need more recipes while we're in between shows, go off to the Taka website, takanow.org. Click on gluten-free, casein-free, soy-free recipes and have a ball. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
You say howdy, we say hi. Let's get rowdy, let's get wild. Let's get wild.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We've mentioned this a couple of times on previous shows, but want to remind everybody that there are still open seats for this amazing event that's happening with Dr. Doreen Granpeche in Fort Myers, Florida. This is happening on December 5th. Dr. Doreen Granpeche, who does our Ask Dr. Doreen segment, and as I always tell you, amazing expert in the field of autism, truly a visionary. She's the founder and CEO of the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. It's a 2-hour seminar. The title of it is Creating a Comprehensive and Individualized Treatment Program for Children with Autism. So that is on Thursday, December 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Edison State College in Fort Myers. Attendees will learn about effective, individualized treatment programs that teach necessary skills and maximize skill acquisition specifically for children with ASD. It is being designed specifically for parents, practitioners, educators, and caregivers, but you must RSVP. So I'm going to give you the email address, and you have to RSVP by December 3rd. I know that it's filling up, but there are still some seats available. So the address is d.plump, P-L-U-M-P, at centerforautism.com. Really want to encourage you, if you are in the Fort Myers, Florida area, if you're anywhere in Florida and can make the trip to get there, I want to encourage you to go to that event. I say this about myself, and I've heard this from so many other parents. Meeting Dr. Granpeche is really a life-changing moment. Getting to hear her speak about how they go about teaching teaching a child new skills, it is something that you should treat yourself to. Let's say that. So I encourage you, again, you want to RSVP to that at d.plump@centerforautism.com. You must RSVP by December 3rd. I will encourage you to do that beforehand because this will fill up. It is a free, comprehensive seminar that evening on December 5th in Fort Myers, Florida. I encourage you to go. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with more after these messages.
Hi everyone! Thanksgiving is fast approaching and we thought it'd be really fun to teach you a gluten-free stuffing recipe with help from Breads from Anna. Now this is a 2-day recipe, and so day 1 we're going to make this bread. Here's what you're going to need. 1 package of Breads from Anna bread mix, 1 packet of active dry yeast, 3 eggs, 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons sugar, 1/4 cup of oil, 1/2 cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon ground sage, thyme, rosemary, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, and then a pinch of tarragon, onion powder, marjoram, and garlic powder. On day 2, when we put the stuffing together, here's what you'll be needing. 6 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 bulb of fennel, 1 chopped onion, 2 chopped carrots, 1/2 cup of gluten-free chicken broth, 1 teaspoon of ground sage, thyme, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt and pepper. All right, step 1, we're gonna dissolve our sugar into our water. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our active yeast. We're gonna dissolve all these together. So we're gonna just set this aside. Now we're going to take our bread mix right on over to our mixer. So first things first, we're going to put all our liquids together before we add in our dry bread mix. We're putting in 3 eggs, our oil, apple cider vinegar, water, and our water, yeast, sugar mixture. We're going to blend these all together. So once our liquids are all mixed together, we're going to go ahead and add our bread mix. We're also going to add all of our spices now. Okay, now that our bread's been mixed, we're going to spoon this into a bread dish and we're going to let it rise for about an hour. Okay, so now that we've let this rise for about an hour, we're going to bake it at 375 for another hour. All right, it's been an hour, so let's grab our bread out of the oven. We're going to let this cool for a little bit, and then we're going to actually cube the bread, and we're going to toast it in the oven just a little bit longer to dry it out so that when we add it to the vegetables, it'll make a really great stuffing. So as you can see, we've toasted our little breads here in the oven, and now what we're going to do is saute some of these vegetables so that we can mix it in with the bread and make our final stuffing combination. So we'll start with the butter. So we're going to start with our onions so that we can make sure these are good and cooked before we add the other vegetables. They cook a little bit longer. Okay, those are looking pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and add our fennel, our carrots, our garlic, and then all our spices. So you're going to want to cook this until the carrots especially are nice and soft. Our vegetables are pretty soft here, so what we're going to do is go ahead and mix this with our bread. We're also going to go ahead now and add our 1/2 cup of broth. So once these are mixed together, we're going to go ahead and pour it into our greased baking dish, and we're going to bake it an additional 20 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, I think it's ready. Da-da-da. All right, and we can add a little garnish here. Perfect, and it's ready for Thanksgiving dinner. To learn how you can win some breads from Anna, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/autism-live. Until next time, happy holidays.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We usually every Tuesday give you a healthy eating tip, but we weren't here on Tuesday, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about this. Somebody had sent us a link to an article in examiner.com, and the headline on the article is "Restricted Diets in Kids with Autism Can Cause Serious Health Problems." Now, I don't know about you, but when I saw that headline, I thought, oh, when we talk about restricted diets, for me that's eliminating some things, but it can also mean when kids are picky eaters and only eat a couple of things, two vastly different things. So we wanted to talk about this because this is a serious issue, and we also wanted to clean up a little bit that in this case what they're talking about is when a child is picky and will only eat a couple of things. I know that there are many people out there who are watching who have picky or finicky or kids who have such an issue with food that it is an ongoing struggle for nutritional safety, and that's really what this story is about. It was reported in Pediatrics magazine on November 4th that a boy with autism was hospitalized for serious health problems resulting from his limited diet. A 9-year-old boy was brought into the emergency room at Boston Children's Hospital complaining of severe hip pain. Later on, they prescribed physical therapy, but the problem got worse and the doctors didn't know what was causing his problem. Eventually, he deteriorated to such a point that he developed a cough, a rapid breathing, and a reduced oxygen intake and rapid heartbeat. He was admitted to intensive care, and his condition was upgraded to life-threatening. The doctors were still unsure of what the underlying cause was, but eventually they did enough testing to discover that he, quote-unquote, had severe nutritional deficiencies. The child's mother told the doctors about the boy's limited diet, and the boy was given intravenous vitamins that led to his improvement. Now, Dr. Andrew Aidsman of the Stephen and Alexandra Cohen Children's Medical Center in New York reported to Health Day saying, "We know that many children with autism spectrum disorder have sensory issues. We are overly sensitive to they're overly sensitive to certain textures, sounds, and perhaps tastes. And many children with an autism spectrum disorder will have an insistence of sameness, are comfortable with routines, and have difficulty with transitions. This case reports highlights of how atypical and narrow the diets are with some children with autism or other severe developmental problems, and that the potential for serious health consequences can follow." So when the child got home, his mother began crushing vitamins to add to his daily food intake, and another doctor, Dr. Melody Duvall, who was one of the treating physicians in the case, recommended that anyone on a restricted diet take a multivitamin. So a couple of things that we want to talk about here. First of all, if your child is a finicky eater, and it does go on in this report to talk about some of the strategies for getting your child to try different things. We have multiple interviews here on the show with experts talking about the importance of varying a child's diet, whether they are on a specific diet because that is restricted to eliminate certain things that are found to be not good for that individual child, or whether it is that the child is a picky eater. We still want to be rotating the diet, and we want to be introducing new things, healthy things on a regular basis. Really, I know that it adds just another level of difficulty, but if we move slowly, we can always be successful at introducing other things into a child's diet. So important that we not just give in. I think this story really highlights how important it is to not just give in and say, this is the battle that I can't fight today. Yeah, there are some days that are like that, but I also want to bring up that if your child, there's a difference between somebody who's picky, somebody who's finicky, and somebody who is failing to thrive. And if you see that your child is not healthy and having extra issues, or you feel that their weight is an issue, either too high or too low, it's time to seek out the next level of help. And I would say to you that depending on where you are with nutrition, you certainly can see a nutritionist to help you to be making healthier choices in terms of what you're eating and packaged foods and those kinds of things. But if your child is finicky to the point where you're having other issues, you really got to get somebody who's a behavior person, a BCBA, a board certified behavior analyst on the case. And we have seen time and time again that even the most hardcore cases of feeding disorders and issues can be improved vastly with the help of a board certified behavior analyst. They're going to be able to analyze. You just heard that this doctor was saying, well, you know, sometimes it's the texture, sometimes it's the sound, sometimes it's the taste. If you don't have somebody who already knows about these kinds of things and can delineate which the issue is with a child, then you're going to spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. And that time is time when your child could be getting healthier. So I'm going to encourage you not to mess around with that. Seek out an expert. There are feeding clinics in many different places. We've featured different experts here. One of them that comes off the top of my head is Dr. Piazza, who you can search feeding on our YouTube page and find Dr. Piazza. Amazing. She has a clinic that she specializes in those kinds of issues. And also, the Center for Autism and Related Disorders does something called SOS that is for just targeted specific behaviors, whether it's the child is engaged in self-injurious behavior or violence towards another or a feeding issue or difficulty taking pills even. They have a pill swallowing clinic that somebody can come to where you are and work on those kinds of things. You can find that if you go to centerforautism.com and go to services, look for specialized outpatient services. It's SOS. But don't let it go. My goodness, this child, this poor child, and I feel bad for the parent as well, because I know everybody's trying to do the best that they can, but it got to the point where it was life-threatening, and that doesn't need to happen, no matter how finicky your child is. And believe me, if you say, well, my child will only eat things that are white, I think everybody can relate to that. That, you know, there are tons of children out there that's the case, and when I tell you that they can turn that around, you know, your child isn't going to live on French fries and nuggets. They can't. If your child is doing that and you really have tried to introduce things and you're not getting it done, please get help. That's the word for today, because our kids need healthy diets in order to thrive, and we want them to. All right, we're going to take a break, and as we do, we're going to go to the A word. This is an amazing ongoing series featuring a little boy, Jack Riley, who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2, but he's had the benefit of early intervention. The best of early intervention. And we see he's now, I believe, started his 3rd year of therapy, and we see that it isn't always easy anymore, that he has started school and sometimes it gets a little bumpy, that our kids, we love to see the trajectory being just like this, right? But within that, there are always hiccups and bumps, and there's new behaviors. Why? Because the kids are growing and they have new boundaries and new stress put on them. And you know, just like with us, if we're trying to do something new and something happens that stresses us out, we will revert back to old behavior, right? And our kids will do that as well. But you can see that they're keeping on it with Jack Riley so that his trajectory continues to go in that direction. Take a look. This is the A word.
I know a cute little blue-eyed boy, and his name is Jack.
Jack Riley.
He got a big, warm, blue-eyed soul that makes your heart beat fast.
Yes, I did.
I say Jack, Jack, Jack is my buddy. Jack, Jack, Jack is my buddy. Everybody around is so down with Jack.
This is the kind of... Come inside, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Come
on, dude. There's a lot of toys in here.
I said Paul's not coming over today.
Thank you.
I didn't like to see Paulo today, and I didn't like him.
Yeah, don't attend that.
Let's go. Let's go find some toys.
I'm sad I didn't like Paulo.
Let's go. Jack Riley, go play.
What? Oh, to come over today.
He's just so argumentative about everything. You know, Paulo's not coming today. I said, Paulo's going to be there. Paulo's not coming.
Redirected to ask me, is Paulo coming today?
Okay.
Yes.
Paul was coming today. End of discussion. And redirect him to something else. Like how we redirected him into playing instead of perseverating on the fact that everyone's here and he doesn't want whoever to come over.
In the last week, he's wet himself several times. It's like he's sliding back a little bit. He's either lost interest in it or control. I don't know.
So if he hasn't gone within 2.5 to 3 hours, you guys need to remind him. Remind him of the reinforcer to initiate. Do you guys have a reinforcer set?
Yeah, it's different every time.
It's
like right
different
now, we've been working
every
on
time.
stickers for Lego City.
How many stickers do I need to get to Lego City?
I think you need 20. Do you know how many you have right now? If you don't know, you can ask Dad. You say, Dad, how many stickers do I have left?
That's how many stickers do I have
You have
left?
17, so you only have 3 left.
Ooh, you only need 3.
That's 20 minus 17 is 3.
Cool.
17 is 3?
Okay.
Whoa.
So 3 times today, if you say, I have to go pee-pee, and you go pee-pee, then you're going to get Lego City today. So to remind him about the reinforcement system that's in place, so he knows right away what he's earning. Because if it takes him a while to remember, then it means it's probably not worth it enough to him.
Okay, I hear you.
You guys alluded to my graphs on parental thing, like what I'm strong at, what I'm not. Just tell me what I'm weak at. I can take it.
We can make you a cheat sheet.
All right.
I'll tell you right now. So non-compliance, as far as following through with non-compliance, what's happening?
No, like when Mike gives an instruction and he doesn't comply, Mike does follow through. I think maybe, because sometimes it's like the spur of the moment, maybe sometimes you might need to do a preference assessment of what he wants.
Well, let me tell you what happened last week. I got to a point where he's sitting down, and I picked the smallest thing to get a sticker for. I said, stand up and you can have a sticker for Lego City, which has been a big deal. He wouldn't stand up. I just ran out of ideas.
So what did you do? What did you do and didn't stand up?
What's that? I tried to pick him up from
Good.
his
Yes.
and sit right down. He did the lifeless body thing.
And then what happened?
Well, I kept picking him up and he kept sitting down. And he kicked my ass. I lost.
I would say that would be your number one thing to work on.
Okay.
Is it does not matter how much he tests you, he is going to stand up.
And you know, it's. I'm sure you guys could have gotten him through it. One tough thing after another. Whatever skills I have go out the window. That's the part that's pissing me off.
Well, and I think he knows that too. I
Okay.
think he knows that he's majorly pushing a button with you.
Okay.
And it's one that he does have control over.
Yeah.
Because like you will sit with
Pisses
him.
me off
after
that
he is-
4-year-old's kicking.
No, it's just you have a very strong history of that happening, and so it's going to be extra hard for you to work through it.
Right.
But you can't. You just have to really stick with it.
Okay.
Paula, I.
Oh,
You gotta say it better.
You gotta say it better, buddy.
how I need to go.
Better, dude.
Jack Riley, you are not going to get a sticker if you're silly about it. You have to say, Paulo, I have to go potty. And if you don't say it, then you don't get a sticker and you're still going to have to go potty.
Try again, dude.
I have to go potty.
Thank
All right,
you.
good job, bud.
Okay, go potty.
Bye.
Give me, show, so it's right here. Contribes. How do you feel? I don't know.
Come on
Should
in,
I
man.
open it?
Bye-bye.
Hey, Jack. I got a nice warm seat for you right here, dude.
Is it time
We're
to
going to
go
put the
yet?
first date it was run, which was 6/14/14.
Father, it's time to go.
Introduce.
Seat, bud.
But it's time for me to go.
Jack, have a
Time
seat.
for me to go.
Try again, bud. Have a seat.
Game over. Oh,
What does a door have?
This is torture. He threw a tantrum in there, and I was glad to be sent out of the room. Regression might be a strong word, but he's not in school anymore, so I think he's sort of slid back a little bit. Whatever school did for him, I think he's missing it, maybe. Sort of depressing when you feel like you should be better at handling his tantrums and helping him out, and really, I don't know that I'm helping a great deal right now.
Daddy is waiting for you to be all done. It is time for you to go home. You are not leaving until you get all of your tokens. You need to answer nicely.
I'm calling Daddy. I need to
Oh, try again, dude. What does a bear have on its skin?
I feel like I'm sort of back at square one. I'm reacting emotionally as opposed to the skills I'm learning. It's just you start doubting yourself, and then once you start doubting yourself, I think you don't react as you should when he's having a problem.
Hey, Jack. What does a refrigerator have?
It has a handle.
Good, dude. Look, you're so fast, dude.
I'm
Okay.
so sad.
Tell me what a cabinet has.
It has a handle.
Good, dude. Jack, tell me what a bird has.
It has a feather.
Yeah, it has feathers, dude. Last one, dude. Tell me what a zebra has.
It has stripes.
Up top, dude. All done.
He's fine. He's not a grudge holder. I mean, but I wanted him to hug everybody because it was a tough session. So.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I'll see you at school tomorrow.
How much do we love that dad? Amazing, amazing man, because, you know, not only is he there and he shows up and he's there for his kids, and the mom is too, right? But a lot of times the dads can't, I'm welling up here. A lot of times the dads are feeling all the same things that dad is feeling, but they're not able to access the words to say it, right? I think I'm very lucky that I am married to a man that also will, you know, admit to having feelings, but I know a lot of you have reported that it's hard. It's hard for the dads. I mean, I think it's hard for this dad, and I think it's hard for my husband as well, that you know, to get the words out and to say, I feel like I'm failing, or I feel like I might be making this worse. We've all been there as parents and felt the humbling moment of, okay, I think I don't think I know what to do in this moment, and somebody else would have been better. There's nothing more humbling than that. But amazing to see and to share, for us to all share those moments and go, okay, you know, we have this idea that our kids are going to pop out and we somehow will have a program downloaded where we know all the answers with our kids. We're the parents, right? We're supposed to know, except that's a bunch of hooey. Especially with our kids on the spectrum. We need people to come in and help us. And yes, the therapists probably, you know, and we saw that even they, though, went through a 15-minute tantrum because Jack Riley is growing and changing. And it feels horrible in the moment. And you feel like, oh my gosh, why are they putting this poor little boy through this? He's frustrated. And yet when you see all that they're asking him to do is answer some questions, and he gets those stickers, and then he's done. Nobody's asking him to climb Mount Everest. They're asking him to do things. His dad says, you know, the place where it fell apart the other day was that I asked him to stand up. That's all he had to do, was to stand up to get another sticker for his Lego City, which we know is the big reinforcing thing for him at this point, and he wouldn't do it. And we know that there is an element of human nature that we all want to be in control of our surroundings, and sometimes we get obstinate and we don't want to participate. It's a part of growing. He's going to do it again when he's a teenager, right? Right? But that, you know, the dad says, and I did this, and then I did this, and they keep asking him, and so what did you do next? Because that's what they want to know. So the thing that we talk about all the time, the A, the B, and the C, what happened before, what did the behavior look like, and what were the consequences? And eventually we get to the point where, you know, his case supervisor says, okay, but you know, you can't give in, and it's hard, and he says, this 4-year-old is kicking my butt. It's humbling, but he's there and he admits it, and we all have our days, right? I have a 10-year-old that occasionally kicks my butt, and then I go, I should know better. I should, yeah, right, shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. We get to be people too. And I love that we get to see the progression, that he has the tantrum, that the therapists are able to stay calm, right? Because they know they're going home eventually, right? Let's be honest. They know that eventually it's going to be over, and they've seen it 1,000 times. They don't have to take it personally. It's something they know, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, that's this, you know, this is their work. It's like whatever paperwork you're used to filling out that would overwhelm somebody else, they're like, oh, we're going to do this, and then this is going to happen. When it's your own kid, it's on a different level. It just is. And your kid knows it and takes advantage of it. So in any case, and I have seen Jack Riley since this, and he progressed out of this moment. And, you know, that's not to say he's not going to have these moments again. at least when he's a teenager, we're going to have these moments again. So in any case, watch this series. Learn from these fabulous parents that are being so honest and open and letting people into their process so that other people can learn from it. And I don't know about you, I feel the need to send some love to that dad today and say, hey, you know, you're doing a good job. In fact, you're doing a better than good job. You're doing a great job because you're letting people see when you're not perfect. And that, hello. Pretty remarkable. Okay, we have to take a break, but I'm a little remiss in saying that the gift this hour, be watching, because the gift in this hour will be a gift certificate that you can give a teacher for 2 IBT trainings. When we come back, I'm going to talk specifically about which 2 IBT trainings you can win. Those are Institute for Behavioral Trainings, and you can gift them to your child's teacher. So stick with us. I'll tell you what we're giving away when we come back.
Hi guys, welcome back to Smarty. For November, we're going to be working on memory with our kids, and what better way than doing a scavenger hunt. The materials you'll be needing for this activity are a camera, cardstock, scissors, glue, and whatever objects you want your child to be hunting for. Step 1, you're the hunter. Find all the objects you want your child looking for and take photos of them. Now that you've collected all the objects you want your kids hunting for later, print out the images and then cut them out and glue them on a cardstock just so they're organized and isolated. Now that the scavenger hunt template is done, put all the objects back where they belong. Remember, we're working on memory, so put them in places that your kids would normally find them. You want them to be successful. We'll make this one really easy to find. Well, I hope you enjoyed this activity with your kids. Remember, the scavenger hunt is supposed to be a fun way to work on memory. Well, until next time, craft on, guys.
Can you see me flying by your side?
Welcome back to Autism Live. I was talking a little bit about IBT training and what we're giving away, and I'm trying to bring up exactly what... I can't make anything work today. I'll find it eventually. But I want to talk about IBT training because we're talking about smart gifting all this week. And there are 5 different areas for me of smart gifting, and the first one is education. If you have the opportunity to give a gift that's a gift of education, that truly is the gift that keeps on giving. And in this particular circumstance, when we talk about gifting to your teachers and to your therapists and the people who are working with your children on an everyday basis, if you gift to them the gift of education, not only are you helping them with their chosen profession, which it helps them to get promotions, and it helps them on a daily basis to do a better job with your child, but you're also helping them on a daily basis to do a better job with other children. So that's why it truly is the gift that keeps on giving. And I think that people really appreciate those gifts. If you consider the people in these jobs are usually people who've chosen them because they love this field. And even if they somehow got morphed into this field, they're staying because they want to be helpful to our kids on the spectrum. And if you give them tools, this is when it all starts to get really, really happy. I'm always frustrated about the public school system and how many teachers that I respect and admire who on a daily basis want to do a good job and a better job, and if they had access to the tools, would use them. Former teacher here, so I know what I'm talking about. If you give teachers those tools, they will use them. So why not give that for a gift this holiday season? And our friends over at the Institute for Behavioral Training have made it infinitely easier for us to do that. And if you go to ibehavioraltraining.com, you will see there's a bunch of things across the top because they do trainings for all kinds of people at all different kinds of levels. But click on the e-learning. And when you click on the e-learning, you'll see down the side of the column, they have for practitioners, for educators, and for parents. I would encourage you to start shopping around found in both the teachers and the parents, and eventually, feel free, you have access to the trainings that are for practitioners, but it's going to be in language. If you think the jargon we talk about here on the show is excessive, go look at the ones under practitioners, right? I wouldn't advise starting out there. It raises my blood pressure because I go, what are they talking about? But in any case, you're going to find it much easier to start in the parent area and in the educator area. If you go into the educator area and just think for a moment about what you would like to be giving your child's teacher, potentially their aide, what you might want to give to their speech and language pathologist, what you might want to give to their OT, and look down that list of different titles. It is quite amazing. So during this hour, and I wish I could find, because there are 3 different packages of things that we're going to be giving away from IT. Let me see if I can find them. I am not finding them. And I don't know. I will find them eventually, but we've done 3 different pairings of 2 trainings. So if you win for this hour, it will be one of those 3 sets of trainings. And they work really well together. If I could ever find them, that would be a really good thing, wouldn't it? In any case, I will find it during our next break, but I encourage you to also take a look at the ones for parents. Maybe this is something that you want to get for your significant other. When you're buying them yourself, they range in price. They're usually between $7 and $10. There are a few that are more extensive that are $25. I was talking about on the show with Dr. Doreen Grampachet yesterday that even if you, there's one training on there that's just about how to deal with emergency safety for your teacher, how to deal with fire drills and things like that, or if something were to happen and your school were to be on lockdown. Even if you just gave that to your child's teacher, and it's either $7 or $10, can you imagine the peace of mind that you would have, and the potential of how many lives that would touch for that teacher to have that awareness of, okay, when we're talking about kids who have deficits in different areas, here are some considerations we would want to have in an emergency, and to be prepared for that it's mind-blowing to me. It's something that should be in everybody's hands. So I hope that you will consider giving the gift of education this year. I know that's what I am going to be giving the individuals who work with my child. And it's very exciting to me because I know how empowering education is, and I know how empowering tools is. Years ago when I was first teaching, because I had been teaching college and then went after 9/11 to teach in a really underserved area at a high school. It was a junior high and high school. And I had kids with really challenging behavior. I'd gone from teaching in a college setting where the kids wanted to be there, had made a choice to be there, and I was teaching theater. So, the kids who were in my classes were excited to be there. It was fun stuff. It was exciting. It was interesting. I almost never had anybody be anything other than excited and thrilled, right? Maybe around finals time, we'd have people having a little bit of meltdowns, but, nothing you couldn't handle, right? Then suddenly I was thrown into a circumstance where I had all kinds of challenging behavior in the classroom. And I remember saying, where are my tools? What do we do? How do we deal with this? What are we doing when it's this kind of a thing? And there was one seminar in particular that I went to where they talked about what the need is from the child, and if you look at it from their point of view, and it was really the beginnings of understanding when children are so desperate for attention that they'll do anything, and if we fill that bucket first, we're much likely to have more success. And what a difference that made for me as a classroom teacher, and not just for the group of kids in that class in that year, but any other time I went into a classroom, the difference that it made for me was life-changing, very exciting. And it was life-changing for those kids as well. So I encourage you, put tools in the hands of your teachers. There is no better thing you could do for society. There's no better thing that you can do for your child. Put those tools in their hands. You can do that with go to ibehavioraltraining.com, and we're giving away a pair of those trainings in this hour. We are going to take a break and come back with some more news for you. Stick with us.
Skills is an online program that provides assessment, curriculum, positive behavior support planning for challenging behavior, and progress tracking, and it does this all in one place. The skills assessment and curriculum addresses 8 areas of development, which even includes advanced higher level areas such as executive functions and cognition, which pretty much makes skills the only ABA-based set of curricula for teaching more complex skills, things like problem solving, planning, self-management, perspective taking, and even inferring and predicting others' private events. Skills is a 4-step system. Step 1 is to add the child to your account. Step 2 is to start assessment. The skills assessment is the only ABA-based assessment with psychometric research demonstrating the language subscale to have excellent reliability. Every area of human functioning and typical child development from infancy to adolescence was researched, making the skills assessment the most comprehensive of its kind in the world, and we're quite proud of that.
Skills is easy to use. Simply click Start Assessment and begin answering questions. Or simply type in a keyword, find specific activities to assess, and add activities to treatment. Step 3. Choose activities. Once you've completed the assessment, Skills selects from a pool of 4,000 activities categorized by age, level, and skill type to provide you with exactly those activities each child needs. Start by choosing a curriculum, then a lesson, and finally an activity. Click the information icon to view prerequisites, ages in which targets develop, examples, and IEP goals. Click the video icon to watch a short video. Once you've identified an activity you want to teach, adding activities to treatment is a snap. Step 4. Start treatment. Here you can access customizable activity lesson details, add your own customized targets and exemplars, and edit an activity status such as introducing or mastering it. You can even print handouts such as worksheets, tracking forms, visual aids, and other materials. Skills also offers multiple progress charts mapping curriculum progress, lesson progress, and cumulative number of activities and targets mastered over time. The Skills language curriculum is categorized by verbal behavior type so that users can identify progress for verbal operants, such as echoics, mans, tax, and interverbals.
Skills is one of the only programs that provides the ability to write behavior intervention plans, or BIPs, for challenging behavior.
With just a few clicks, the outline of the behavior intervention plan is written for you and ready to be printed and implemented.
You can learn more about Skills today and get started by visiting us at www.skillsforautism.com, or you can call us at 877-975-4559. Skills. Progress starts here.
Welcome back to Autism Live. So I found the different packages. So here are the 3 different packages of IBT that we're giving, and we're going to give one of each package away in this hour. You ready? Package number 1, the first IBT training is Skill Acquisition, Shaping and Chaining in the Classroom, an Effective Way to Teach New Skills. Imagine that in your child's teacher's hands. And as a complimentary one in that package, this is package number 1, Encouraging Success Outside the Classroom, Success During Recess and break times. Things for them to be doing in the classroom to encourage the success, and some things to set up with the people who are working with your child during recess and break times for that social success, right? So the 2 of those together, someone will be winning those 2 trainings to give. You can give it to one teacher, or I think you can split them. I'll have to ask the IBT people if you can split them up and give them to 2 different teachers. Then package number 2, the first IBT training is Curriculum and Implementation, Social Skills Training in the Classroom. Woo! Don't we love that? And the second one to go with that, Behavior Management, Positive Behavior Supports, Token Economies in the Classroom, teaching teachers how to make the most of them. Don't we love that? So if you've got a child who is having difficulty with social skills and you want more reinforcement in the classroom, woohoo, that's package number 2. Package number 3, Encouraging Success Outside the Classroom, Emergency Preparedness. That's that one that I was talking about before. And then the second one that goes with that, Modifying the Classroom and the School for Success, Environmental Changes in the Classroom. It'll tell a teacher how to set things up so that it's more sensory friendly, and they will learn about that emergency preparedness. So that's package number 3. So we'll have 3 different winners. You won't be able to specify which package that you want. We'll be picking those at random, but make sure that you're watching for the word throughout the hour to win, and we'll have 3 separate winners for those 3 separate packages. How exciting will that be? Those are IBT trainings. Once again, you want to visit www.ibttrainings.com behavioral training to check out all the other things that are there that you could potentially give a teacher or a therapist or another parent. Give it to your husband, spouse, because there's a whole setting there. If you look under the e-learnings, there are 3 different delineations, one for practitioners, one for educators. So if it's somebody in the school setting, you want to look at that area. And then for parents, great gift for the in-laws. We're going to have some packages for that a little bit later on, closer in December. So pretty remarkable. And we'll let you know tomorrow if you end up winning one of those. Make sure that you participate in the contest. All right, we're going to take another break and we'll be back. Stick with us.
The Institute for Behavioral Training provides courses in applied behavior analysis for the treatment of autism. Access IBT e-learning videos on the move and learn at your own pace.
I'm going to talk a little bit about intensity.
IBT e-learning makes any location your classroom on the go.
So our objectives for today are to really learn what is autism and how is it diagnosed.
Get professional guidance with IBT face-to-face training. IBT face-to-face training courses prepare you to effectively implement ABA-based interventions. Choose between small group and one-to-one instruction. Earn BCBA supervision hours via one-to-one video conferencing.
So I had a chance to review your BIP today. You know what? It looked really good. You did a good job with it.
IBT continuing education courses. Earn credit through webinars, conferences, article reviews, and e-learning videos. You can learn more at ibehavioraltraining.com. IBT, 360 degrees of ABA training.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We mentioned briefly yesterday when Dr. Doreen Grampachet was here that the Center for Autism and Related Disorders is letting everybody know that they have a new program. They have been helping individuals who are on the spectrum, even adults on the spectrum, for quite a long time, but they've got a new program that you can be involved in, and those of you who have teenagers and young adults and also adults on the spectrum who are wanting an individualized treatment program that maximizes skill acquisition, that is something that you can get from the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. We know how essential it is for everyone who is on the spectrum to be able to reach their full potential, and this is an underserved area of the spectrum. So the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, has their new adult services program. You can visit it by going to centerforautism.com, and you can go to their programs, or you can go to www.centerforautism.com/programs.aspx. Okay, so that's a wonderful place that you can go and find out more information about being able to help yourself or the young adult or adult on the spectrum that you care about and that you want to see reach their fullest potential. Some of the different things that they can work on within that individualized program: improving social skills, social language, basic language concepts, functional academics, adaptive skills, functional communication, executive function, and vocational skills. That's a really big component of it that we were talking about with Dr. Doreen Grampachet yesterday, and then we continued on yesterday talking about it with Torquil Sone. A huge area that CARD is really involved in right now, helping our young people to reach a place where they are employable and can be gainfully employed. That is, we all talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our kids deserve that right too. And the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, always thinking at the forefront of helping our kids, is helping to make that a reality. So check that out. Go to centerforautism.com and find out more about their adult services program. We'll be right back after these messages.
Riley has high-functioning autism, and I'd say I noticed somewhere between 9 months and a year. Looking back now, I can tell you everything. I mean, there was no pointing, there was no shared experiences, speech was not coming, the interactive play was not coming, those things weren't happening. You know, you go to the pediatrician, they tell you, well, sometimes boys are slow or things might take a while to come along, but it still wasn't happening. And right when he hit the 2-year-old room in preschool is when the wheels fell off the wagon. That's when we got some intervention. That's when we figured out, you know, how are we going to address this problem. The first thing I did was I got a mentor, because there's no book on what to do with your autistic child. I mean, there's many books, but each path is individual. So I got a mentor, a really nice woman named Marlene. She has a daughter with Asperger's, and she told me, go to a psychiatrist so you can have your child fully diagnosed and a rock-solid diagnosis that can't really be attacked. Call CARD and do whatever they tell you to do. That was probably the thing she talked about the most. Get in touch with CARD. She actually put me in touch with Evelyn from CARD, and calling CARD was like amazing, because I really felt like things were finally going to be okay. We were going to get the help we needed.
We tried a number of different things before we could get into CARD, and you could really see the difference in the data keeping, really addressing what his issues were, whereas the other places we had been, it seemed pointless to me.
We've talked about this, and I feel like we met a lot of really nice, well-intentioned people.
Right.
And then when we got to CARD, we met a lot of really nice people who could help us because they had the experience. It was ABA, which I think is the only way to go with your child if you're trying to overcome autism. And if you go to CARD, the people are so qualified, and there's so much of a database on how to approach this. It's just like they come right in, and we started off with, let's have Riley sit down for 2 seconds, because he couldn't even get that. And we worked on baby steps until now he's in 1st grade and he's working at grade level. So it just starts with baby steps, and it keeps working on, because they have a way to approach every single problem, every single tantrum, every single thing you're going to come up with. They have a way to approach it and help you get through it.
Yeah, I'm always amazed, like at our clinic, we'll be having a specific problem, and how good they are, all of them, the therapist and your team leader, at coming up with a solution, something to try, and it almost always works. Whatever the particular behavior you're trying to deal with, they're really good at them. They know the answers.
He likes a lot of stuff, I think, regular 7-year-olds like. He likes to swim.
He loves to swim.
He's a fish. Likes to ride a scooter, loves Toy Story, loves playing on the iPad. Loves
Justin Bieber.
Thought you all be mine.
Good job, buddy.
High five.
High five.
High five.
Yeah.
CARD's been good about encouraging us to do things that maybe wouldn't occur to us, like him learning to ride a bike was really them saying, hey, it's time, let's do this, and helping us do that, and so he can ride a bike. He's still working on the brakes a little bit, but you know, he can pedal a bike. We can go to Balboa Park and he'll ride happy as a clam along the bike path.
If you think something's wrong, it's not about you. Don't bury your head in the sand. Go get help, because the help is out there to make your life and your child's life just so much better. And if you're lucky enough to get in with CARD, I can't even tell you what a difference it's made in our lives from 4 years ago. Just the quality of life we have, the quality of life Riley has, the progress he's made from being a child who wanted to stay in his room and play Toy Story and line up his Toy Story dolls all day, to a 1st grader who's working at grade level. It couldn't have happened without CARD intervention, without ABA, and without all the wonderful people we met there.
Welcome back to Autism Live. I want to take a couple of minutes to write in to talk about a couple of things that you guys have written in. Somebody wrote in earlier this week. Hi, Shannon. I want to thank you for your great show, and I want to share with you how I found you. I was on the kitchen floor one day, because we talk about that, being part of the Kitchen Floor Club, so I started Googling autism. I found a great video about a mom describing her autism journey, and guess who it was? It was Holly Riley from Taka. We love Taka, and we love Holly. The person goes on to write, I started the diet and saw great results, so I decided to look for more of her videos, and there was one when she was on your show. The thing that I regret is that I had the opportunity to tell you this and Holly at the Taka picnic this year, but I was speechless when you were both in front of me. You both are responsible for the great thing that has happened for my son. I do not know if I can have the opportunity to see you both again to thank you personally. Remarkable people. And then she goes on to leave her name and email address, so I'll be emailing you. But bless your heart, and I so wish that you'd run up and talk to us at the picnic. But you will see us again, I guarantee you, because, we all move in small circles, and, we'll be someplace again. And then I hope that you will come up and see us, because Holly and I have both been in the boat where we felt that way about somebody else before, too, that made a difference for us, and felt that, I don't know if I'll, what if I say something stupid? And because, believe me, I've said lots of stupid things in my life, or just made a complete and total buffoon of myself, crying over the person, and I walked away thinking, oh, what must they think of me? But Holly and I both know, so even if, if you'd said, and I'm embarrassed or I'm shy or whatever, Holly and I would have welcomed you with open arms, because that's how Holly is, and she is a remarkable person. We need to get her back on the show. But also want to say to you, great job. I mean, really, the fact that you got up off the kitchen floor, and yes, I'm familiar with that kitchen floor. I'm familiar with that kitchen floor, and you started Googling things, and I love that you can Google things and find somebody like Holly Riley. And Holly has a bunch of different videos that she has done, at least a couple of different videos that she's done over the year that are really amazing. I encourage everybody to go and look at them. It's Holly Riley, R-I-L-E-Y. And can I tell you that the first time I got to meet Holly was just a few months before that at an ARI conference that was here, and I don't get to conferences very often, I really don't. And but I went, and the Taka table, whenever you go to a conference ever, look for the Taka table. It will be where they're having the party. There will be a bunch of people in black t-shirts that say Taka on them, and you'll hear them from, 2 sections over in the conference, because they're the people having the party. And it's the place where you'll find moms and dads too, by the way, and laughing and smiling and a lot of hugging going on. It's where they're having the best time in the building. And I knew a couple of people in Taka, and I had been on the Taka site, my local group, for years, and not met most of the people that I talked to or that I read stuff that they posted on a regular basis. And Holly was somebody who posted on a regular basis, and I would always, I would look at my daily digest and I would see, somebody posted about this, and I would think, I got to remember about this for when Jem's a little bit older. Or I would see somebody else posted and said, hey, I'm looking for a resource for something, and I would think, I have a resource for that, but I would scroll down, and the very next response would be this brilliant, amazing response that said everything that I was thinking about, but better and more efficiently with more resources. And I would always look and say, well, who answered this? This is like amazing, the things that this woman knows. And it was Holly Riley, 9 times out of 10. And so when I went up to this ARI table, and there were a bunch of Taka people, and I knew a couple of them, and I said, hey, who's Holly Riley? I'd like to meet her. And they said, she'll be here later on. And so I felt a little like, I don't, and then I got to meet her, and we literally fell into each other's arms. And at that picnic, my son got to meet her son for the first time, and they had a ball together. absolute ball. They're the same age. And so never, if you see me or Nancy or anybody else that's on the show like Holly out and about, try to find the way to overcome that feeling of, are they gonna welcome hearing from me? Because we will, we absolutely will. And I'm glad though that you said something now, so we can laugh about that and we'll talk via email, and then you won't feel funny about it next time. But we're all part of this club together. I felt that way yesterday. Can I just share that when we had Torquil Sone on? I was like, he's doing all these amazing things. He's, this brilliant, brilliant man. And and during the break, I would say, I'm so thrilled that you're here. And he would say, yeah, we're all part of this together, right? And, the thing that I'm always saying too, but I was feeling it yesterday. I was a little bit like, oh my gosh, look at what he's doing. But, the truth of the matter is, we're all in the trenches and finding our way, and it doesn't feel like anything remarkable. Nancy and I, after the show yesterday, had a big long meeting planning for next year, and as frequently happens when you get two autism parents sitting down together and talking openly, at some point we were going back through elements of our stories together and telling things that the other one didn't know about, difficult times. And there was at least a moment for each one of us where I said, man, I didn't know you went through that. And she said the same thing to me. And we both left and said, I don't realize, sometimes I tell people how hard it was, but I don't realize all the things we overcame. And that if I applied that knowledge to the things that we still have yet to overcome, because some days, I always talk about, it's Tuesday and there's laundry and you feel like, I just don't know if I can. And remembering, okay, look at how far we came. And it helps me to remember how hard it is for some of you out there right now. But it also helps me to remember how powerful we all are, that we're showing up for our kids. We're doing what has to get done. We're fighting the good fight of making sure that we get funding and resources to do what has to happen, despite people who sometimes think they know better and people who aren't showing up in the way that they need to show up, right? We fight through those people to get to the people who want to help our kids and who truly do. And we all do that on a daily basis. And as Nancy always says, we're all activists, all of us. So we all belong to that club, and I have yet to meet the autism parent that I didn't like. So come up to me whenever. I promise you I'll have a hug for you. Or not if you don't want to be hugged. Just say, I don't want to be hugged, and then I'll take that. Now, having said all of that, I want to go to some of the things that you guys wrote in when we asked you the question of the day today. We asked you, what is the one gift that you would like this holiday season? And I told you, think big, dream big. And I love, this is just like such a warm fuzzy in a lot of ways, the things that you guys wrote in. Somebody said, my children to have a wonderful Christmas. That's an autism parent for you. I just want to see them smile and laugh. I live through them. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Again, asking an autism parent, what's the biggest gift you want for this holiday season for you? And I get from a parent, an iPad for my son. Someone else says answers to some of my daughter's issues and how to help her. Someone else says help with anything. My boys, homeschool, housework, laundry, shopping, whatever, just some help. I'm going to wish some of that for you. Someone else says to see my son smile. This is why these people are so incredible. Somebody else who says for insurance companies to fully cover autism therapy. Someone else says naturally to see my children happy, and also a few days break would be divine, wouldn't it? Someone else says for everyone to accept autism and all special needs, please, and their people. Someone else says my son to talk. Someone else says the cure. And here's another one. My son to speak and understand things and less tantrums and attitude. For my daughter to keep succeeding. My twins to keep being sweet and less being buttheads. And then they wrote LMBO. I'm kidding, but serious, LOL. Love that. We don't need our kids to be buttheads, but they will be occasionally. It's a sign of them growing. And someone else says that kids with autism never be bullied. And another person who says to be able to enjoy Christmas with my family. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you get when you ask a group of autism parents, what do you want for Christmas? Did you notice there was no jewelry on there? Did you hear that? Did you catch that? Love our autism parents, and all of these things are possible. Some of them will take longer, but all of these things are within the realm of possibility. Okay, we are going to take a break. We're going to come back and continue to talk about some other things that you can do for smart gifting to give you some other ideas. All right, stick with us.
What do you think about the prevalence of autism, the rising number of prevalence, and what are your thoughts on what this world is going to be like with so many individuals on the autism spectrum?
I think a lot of the increase is just increased detection on the milder spectrum, but I think there is some severe autism that's increased. Older parents having children would be one factor. You know, lack of vitamins, like the B vitamins prior to pregnancy, chemical insults, taking prescription drugs in the first trimester. There's a whole lot of little insults like this that can interact with susceptible genetics. I work in a technical field, and there's mild autism and Asperger's and dyslexics all over it. One of the best millwrights in the feedlot industry is severe dyslexic. He's one of the best millwrights that there is, and that builds complicated feed mills. And the thing that worries me is they've taken so many of the hands-on classes out of the school: cooking, sewing, woodworking, metalworking, auto shop. There's a lot of kids that are kind of different. They make great mechanics, and we have a shortage of mechanics right now. We have a shortage of engineers. I'm getting concerned that there's some smart kids that are kind of different, kind of getting a handicap label. Now, where the diagnosis really makes a difference is later on in life with their relationships. And the wife is wondering why the husband is not very demonstrative and, you know, not very lovey-dovey and emotional. And this is where getting a diagnosis can really help their marriage, because then the wife understands. See, that's where that kind of, when it comes to relationships, that's where the diagnosis can really, really make a difference. I think one of the problems today is sort of a more social society today. You know, the kid that was a little bit not too social before, he'd be out there in the auto mechanic shop getting along great with the shop teacher, and they got rid of that kind of stuff. You see, I'm in a weird situation where I walk back and forth between the autism world and the sort of metalworking and cattle working kind of world. And there's farmers that I know that are on the spectrum, and they're doing great in farming.
So maybe it's not that these kids actually do have a diagnosis then, but maybe the prevalence was there before?
Well, I think on the mild end, I think the prevalence is probably there. But I think there's severe autism that has increased. There's way too much sugar in the diet. We also have an omega-3 deficient diet in this country. We're not getting enough omega-3s. I think let's go back to the alternative things: fish oil supplements, some of the B vitamins, and lots of exercise. Kids are eating way too much sugar, and kids are not just getting enough activity. You know, mother used to say to me, go outside and run the energy out of you. Well, and kids aren't doing that today, so that makes the ADHD worse.
Welcome back. We'd like to do a quick shout out for our friends over at the Autism Media Channel. As we reported before on the show, there is a film that is being made called Who Killed Alex Sportalakis? And this story, we've covered it from end to end. Alex Sportalakis, who is now dead, a young man who is no longer with us on the autism spectrum after a series of just horrifying events with his mother and a caregiver who were seeking help for this young man who was very self-injurious, very violent, extended stay in a hospital where they had him chained to a bed because the officials in the hospital could not figure out how to contain Alex. They were just at the beginning of being able to get help and support for this poor family when they found out that their insurance was no longer going to continue to fund any of the therapies that they were doing. And none of us knows exactly what happened, but as a result of this ongoing battle, the mother and the caregiver planned to, according to them, take Alex's life and their own life. They were unsuccessful in taking their own lives, but Alex, unfortunately, was killed. And the mother and the caretaker are both in prison and up on murder charges. And this story is so disturbing on so many different levels, but there is footage of, as the family was going through, they were trying to document how the family was going to get help. And they're taking the footage now and putting it together for a documentary of who killed Alex Sportalakis, documenting what the family went through and raising the question about, could this possibly have been avoided? Is there a way that if there had been help and support, is there a way that Alex could have still been with us? So they are looking for funding on Indiegogo. You can go to Indiegogo and search who killed Alex Sportalakis. That's spelled Spourdalakis. And you can donate, if you'd like to see this film be finished, you can donate there to the Indiegogo account so that perhaps we can raise some awareness about how essential it is that families get support. It is life and death. And so we give you that information and take a look at it. We hope that you'll support the making of this film to shed some light on this horrible, horrible tragedy. And we're going to take a break and we'll be back with more.
When Maddie was diagnosed, I'll be honest, I was very ignorant on what autism was. I knew that autism was basically something that hit boys at the age of 2 to 3 and shut down. And sometimes you think of the typical Rain Man movie. And with Maddie, she was doing all the same signs and symptoms of a typical child with autism spectrum disorder.
Stand up. She didn't even acknowledge us coming into the room. She had barely any eye contact. She didn't interact with her sisters. She didn't really do anything. She just basically lined up her toys and that was about it. We have a team of 7 volunteers, or 8 now. We have 8 volunteers, including my husband and I. And I'm the team leader, and so I do all the curriculum and get everything ready each week.
Jana was downstairs until 11 o'clock at night working on curriculum, going through 2 different textbooks. And then we, as a group, meet on Monday nights, and we would go through what the curriculum was from Jana. And a lot of times we would go, well, how exactly do you do that? How do you sit her at the table and do this trial base? What Skills has done for us, it's taken that away from Jana trying to figure out the curriculum for one. She can go down, or even our laptop, and she can sit down and through all these questions, it comes up with the different programs.
At least for me, it was a relief off my shoulders. I was worried that I might be missing something, missing a curriculum that maybe she needs to know, where Skills, they have every possible thing your child needs to know from 0 to 7. They have a program for that.
What noise is this?
Good job!
Every program that we did with her, I knew it was specific for what she needed to learn. Because before Skills, it was a lot of, okay, well, is that really age appropriate for a 2-year-old? You know, because it's not generalized. It's anywhere from 0 to 7. This is what your child needs to know in most manuals you'll find. But for this, okay, yep, she should be learning this. And no, she's not 4 yet. She doesn't need to know that yet.
We are so fortunate that Jana was able to attend a conference put on by CARD that opened the door for Skills, and that there's no looking back for us.
We started using the program in November, and it seemed like by January something just clicked, and she has completely kind of came out of her fog that she was in for quite a while.
I have never read a documented case on any child that has not benefited anything from applied behavior analysis And now with this new skills and being, like the E version of ABA, I can't imagine it doing anything harmful to their child. It's nothing but exponential growth for us.
To see her now, it just blows us away when we call her our little miracle child, because in 7 months' time, she's just blossomed into this normal, functioning child. And suddenly, we joke about it all the time, like suddenly we have twins.
If you're even thinking about doing it, do it. Because the absolute worst thing you could do is do nothing at all. And even if you use this program and it's just a single mom or a single dad working in the evenings with their child, this program is going to benefit them. It's going to show you where they are, it's going to show you where they need to go, and it's going to show you what skills and how to get there. It is an online book on how to help recover your child.
Welcome back. We're here at the end of the show, and I got a bunch of business that I want to take care of. Somebody just wrote in and said, "Hello, Shannon. I went to the IEP today and followed your advice and not signed the IEP the same date. And they said, we do not need your signature. If you want to sign us, fine, and gave me the IEP signed by them. Is this true? I did not sign it. However, I took it home and will send tomorrow. Thanks for your feedback." Well, okay, let's talk about what technically, I think it's great that they were like, that's okay, we don't need your signature today. That's wonderful. But the truth of the matter is in order to implement and to have that accepted as the document of record, and that you accepted their free, appropriate public education, they need to have it signed. And if you don't sign it, they might wait 2 weeks or 2 months, but eventually they're going to come back and they have to move forward. That thing has to be signed. And you do have to sign it. I think it's all great that they're acting all nonchalant about it, but it depends on whether it is your first IEP or whether you have an IEP already in place, what happens next. Because if you have an IEP already in place, no IEP can supplant that until you have signed it and they have signed it. It's a legal document, it's an agreement, and they cannot implement, and until they implement it, you have a stay put, which means the old IEP is in play. So let's say that last year you had 2 hours of speech every week, and this year they're offering you 1 hour, and you say to them, no, I think an hour and a half is more appropriate. While you're arguing about it, you ask for a stay put, and they have to continue to give the services that are in the IEP of record. If it's your first IEP, technically before they can implement any of the services, it has to be agreed upon in order for it to be official and be enforceable. And there will come a time when they're asked by their district to make sure that their IEPs are signed, because believe me, they're going to want to tie that up so that they're going to be people that they'll be in contention with, probably in every school district, so they want to know who are we still battling with, so they can narrow the pool of what do we have to do. And who do we have to put the lawyer on? So, technically, sure, they don't need your signature right now. What's it to them? But they're going to need your signature eventually. So take the time, and it's great, though, that they didn't pressure you. Absolutely great. I think more and more schools are learning that this is not a tactic that works with autism parents. And so, maybe their intentions were completely good in saying, no, it's okay. We don't need you to sign it today. There's no huge rush. Nobody's on fire. There's no 911 call being made. It's fine. And you should have the right to look it over. If you agree with it and you think that it's great and that it's going to be a good plan for your child, then, feel free to sign it. But just know that when you sign an IEP, it becomes the IEP of record, and it will take over for any IEP that you had up till that point. If you don't sign it, everything that was on the old IEP still enforceable. And that's where it becomes a big deal. If it is the first IEP, they're wanting to set a level of this is what we're going to do, because next year, when you are talking about, or 3 years later, depending on how often you end up doing an IEP, they're going to, if you have a disagreement, it will fall to this one. So make sure that that it's what you want and what you think makes sense. Okay, somebody also wrote in, wow, amazing answers to the question of the day. I know. I thought, what do I want to say to this question? But after you shared some of the answers, I felt almost awful because I was thinking about a vacation. I know, I said a car, right? But you know what? Everybody's in a different place, and it's okay, the things that we want. So nobody needs to feel bad about that. If one person wanting a smile from their child is absolutely an amazing thing, but it's okay to want a vacation too. Absolutely. All right. As we go to finish the show, I just want to talk a little bit about, we talked today about smart gifting, and we talked about the gift of education and how powerful that is. Somebody else had written in and said, did they say knowledge? Learning is power. Yes, it is. We talked a little bit about pampering. We always know that gift cards are a great gift to be given. I think sometimes people feel funny about giving a gift card for something, but when you think about it, when you give a gift card, it enables somebody to go in those after the holiday sales and get even more. So don't feel funny about giving gift cards. I know that teachers and therapists love getting gift cards, but we also talked about the gift of pampering. I'm looking at this lovely Lush gift over here that's just off camera, if I can reach over and get it. Did you see for a second? Well, it's see-through, but it smells so good, you guys. It just smells absolutely fabulous. So the gift of pampering, another great gift. Another great thing you can do is give a really inexpensive homemade gift. I will caution you though, make sure that it's something that you already know how to make and that you have a lot of the supplies, because it quickly mounts up and gets more expensive than gifts that are really spectacular and take you 5 seconds to buy. I love being on Pinterest, but I'm sure you've all heard of the Pinterest fails. So if you're going to do something homemade, stop and think about the time element and think about the amount of supplies. There have been lots of holiday seasons where what I gave was homemade jewelry. I make earrings sometimes. I made this pair that I have on right now, but somebody gifted me a bunch of beads, and for me that was therapeutic to sit and make earrings. It didn't take up time that I would have been doing something else, and it was a great deal of fun, and I loved giving them away. So that kind of thing, but don't take on a new project that you don't already know how to do. Trust me, I've been there, done that, and you end up spending so much more money than if you just went and got something fabulous that you didn't take up the time for. And then the other thing that we're going to be talking about tomorrow is giving the gift of energy, that whether it is maybe a buzz of energy like coffee, or giving the gift of energy in terms of health. So we'll talk about that as well. So all of that and ever so much more tomorrow. Speaking of which, tomorrow we've got some really great guests on the show. Dr. Jonathan Tarbox will be here with us to talk about research and to be answering your questions. I know somebody wrote in about a pacifier issue, and so we're either going to have Dr. Tarbox answer that or Dr. Adele Nadowski, who will also be with us. We're also going to have two other incredible guests tomorrow. Sarah Cho is going to be with us for at least a couple of minutes to talk some more about that adult services program that we mentioned to you briefly today. And we are going to have Ryan Gutterson from IBT talking about some of these trainings, and he's going to do a walkthrough for us of how to be able to purchase these gift certificates for the teachers to make it really easy. I'm told that, because I haven't done it yet for my teachers, but I'm told that, you really need the walkthrough to know how to do that, that it will make it easier for those of us who perhaps I can be very technically challenged. So that will be going on tomorrow. Now, next Tuesday, the craziness begins in terms of the Toy Festival. And when I say to you that it's exceeding my wildest expectations, we are so thrilled with the toys that are pouring in, and the representatives from so many different companies who have agreed to come on the show. And we've got people from Uncle Milton Toys is going to be here. We have some items representing Lego, Leapfrog, Frog is going to be here with us. Trying to think, we have Kids Bop we're going to be talking about. Wicked Cool Toys is going to be here. Fat Brain Toys. We are going to have somebody from Lecotech here showing learning resources and Endless Games. Really remarkable company, Endless Games, that we featured before on the show. So those and ever so much more. See you tomorrow. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me.